madali lang ang aking briefing dahil sumusunod kami sa guidelines ng Department of Health. Dahil hindi naman namin expertise ang health issues itong virus na ito. Kung ano ang guidelines ng Department of Health at ng ibang departamento, sinusunod namin. Yun ang nagiging basihan namin. Nandito si Undersecretary Elaine Pascua, na siya ang in charge sa school health. Nandito din ang aking Undersecretary for Curriculum Development na si Undersecretary Dad San Antonio para makatulong ng magbigay ng additional information. So insofar as the coronavirus is concerned, sumusunod kami. Lahat ng mga issuances namin base sa Department of Health issuances at saka advisories galing sa Presidente at saka ibang mga ahensya. Now, insofar as PISA is concerned, gusto ko lang ulitin yung paulit-ulit naming sinasabi na first time na nag-participate dito ang Department of Education. Pero this international test is already 20 years old. Pero ngayon lang tayo nag-participate. Kaya mahirap na kumuha ng baseline from one PISA examination to the other kasi first time naman tayo nag-participate. Hindi naman natin tinatago na low performance ang rating na natanggap ng ating mga bata. Ito ang tinitest ay mga 15-year-olds, both junior high school at saka senior high school. Pero maganda yung mga leksyon na nakukuha natin. Yung mga estudyante, mga learners na galing sa urban centers, mas malaki ang kanilang ratings. At saka halimbawa, hindi naman ibig sabihin na yung buong Pilipinas mababa ang rating. Iba't iba ito kasi yung total na standing natin na nasa mababa mean score yan sa buong bansa yan. So hindi nakakapagtataka na ang mga highest na scores ay galing sa mga NCR schools, no? Kasi yung sabi nila urban and rural divide. Pero what is also interesting is that in terms of regional performance, ang pinakamataas after NCR is Region 7. Tapos sa Mindanao ay Region 11. Kaya gusto nating matutunan kung paano nila nakamit itong mga scores na ito. Halimbawa, sa buong mundo, mayroon tayong 3 bansa na napakataas ng scores, pero mayroon man tayong 2 eskwelahan na talagang match na match, malapit na malapit sa scores nitong mga highest scoring countries like Singapore, for example, or China. At saka ang pinakamataas na score is Pasig Science High School. And then Region 6 Regional Science High School also na napakataas ng score. So maski sabihin natin kabuuan mababa, pero mayroon tayong mga eskwelahan na nag-e-excel. 20 ka schools itong mga matataas. At saka itong 20 ka schools match the average score of OECD countries. Kaya nila. So yun ang tinitingnan natin na in spite of the many challenges, mayroon tayong mga schools na talagang nag-excel. Sabihin natin na marami tayong problema, pero bakit halimbawa, why is the Pasig score so high? Why is Region 6 Region Science School rating so high? Bakit ang Region 7 mataas? Sa reading, bakit ang Baguio mataas ang score? So, mayroong leksyon na makukuha natin dito na pwede nating i-share sa ibang mga parts ng ating ibang mga regions. So, ito ay nag-lead sa ating programa na tinatawag nating KITE, Edukalidad, na nagpipivot na tayo not only from access, kasi may success naman tayo sa access, but on to quality. Ano itong tinitingnan natin? Una, yung curriculum. rini-review natin ang curriculum. Nandito ngayon si Yusek Dads. By March 30, lalabas na yung full report on the curriculum review at mga pagbabago sa ating curriculum. At saka may mga feedback sa atin galing sa business sector, galing sa media, galing sa public na ina-assess yung curriculum natin ng K-12. So, mag-introduce tayo ng reforms dyan. Pangalawa, yung sa yung halimbawa yung mga learning materials natin, yung ating mga equipment, mga classrooms, yung improving ng sintawag nating learning environment. Nakita natin na mayroon tayong more than 9,000 na mga eskwelahan na kailangan talagang tulungan in terms of classrooms, in terms of equipment, learning resources, books, etc. At saka nandito si Yusek Alain na nagmamonitor nito. Pangatlo, palagay ko, importante, which is the third is teachers. Nakita natin na hindi ka naman kailangan magkaroon ng PhD para malaman mo yung relasyon ng kung anong natutunan ng mga bata. Largely, nasi-shape yan ng mga teachers. So, kailangan i-upskill sila, kailangan i-reskill kasi iba na ngayon ang paraan ng pagtuturo, iba na ngayon ang content ng pagtuturo, hindi lamang tuturuan sila ng data dahil ang data makukuha naman even from their cell phones ng mga bata, kung saan as a matter of fact, sobrang data ang nandyan available sa isang bata. Ang mahalaga kung paano ma-process itong data ito, paano makakita ng meaning, yung tinatawag nating critical thinking. So if you want our children to develop critical thinking, the capacity to assess, ay kailangan ang teachers din i-upskill sila. So, at pang-apat, and this is where media, communications, the business sector, yung environment, mga stakeholders, lalo natin silang ini-involve kasi ang responsibility for education hindi lamang sa Department of Education pero kailangan natin ng support. Kaya continuously we are consulting the business sector, civil society at saka mga experts sa iba't ibang mga paaralan na nag-i-excel sa edukasyon, kinoconsult natin. Kaya nga bukas, February 18, magkaroon kami ng nationwide consultation with the business and environment dahil sila ang nag-absorb ng karmihang graduates natin. Nagko-consult din tayo sa mga heads ng mga magagaling na mga institusyon. As I said, nakita natin there are 20 schools na ang scores nila ay comparable or even higher than OECD scores. Oo. Paano nila yung nagagawa? Maski sinasabi natin na hindi maganda yung level ng edukasyon natin. So yung ang attitude natin is to learn from the PISA results. So ayun ang ating pinagkaabalahan ngayon at saka aywan ko if this is now the proper time to clarify mga concerns sa public at saka sa media na specifically in the case of may epidemic of illiteracy. Sinasabi na 70,000 readers daw, learners in Bicol cannot read. Palagay ko kailangan i-clarify natin anong ibig sabihin natin ng cannot read. Kung no read, no write, hindi yan tama. Dahil ito ay annual assessment na ginagawa ng Department of Education. Tinitest kung yung level ng comprehension nila, kung level ng understanding nila, ng kanilang binabasa ay appropriate to their grade. Hindi ibig sabihin illiterate sila. Kaya madaling i-interpret na yung 70,000 ay illiterate na mga Bicolano. Palagay ko insultur naman yun sa mga Bicolano dahil one of their schools, yung Partido State University, nila, ang taas ng rating So, yun, gusto ko lang i-clarify yan. At saka yung paggamit ng, yung precision in the use of the word, do not know how to read, hindi ibig sabihin no read, no write. Kasi may mga kategorya yan nakakabasa pero hindi lubos na nakakaintindi. So, iba't ibang level yan. At saka yung number siguro na 70,000, medyo exaggerated yan dahil hinalo yung nahihirapan sa Pilipino, nahihirapan sa English, tapos umabot sa 70,000 kung saan yun na nanggagaling. So, maging maingat lang tayo siguro sa ating pag-interpret nitong mga numero, not only numero but words themselves. Not knowing how to read is different from being illiterate. And so yun ang tinitingnan natin. So edukalidad, health issues, kami ay sumusunod sa lahat ng mga requirements at kung kailangan. At my level, I always call the Department of Health Secretary pag mayroon kaming hindi mariresolve na issues, at saka madali namang magtawagan ang mga cabinet members. Maraming salamat.
Okay, Yusek Bongkato.
Yes, good morning. On behalf of Secretary Berna Romulo Puyat, allow me to share with you updates on the steps we have taken to respond to COVID-2019. We have prepared a short presentation for everybody's appreciation. The first step that the DOT did was to issue, next slide please, would issue guidelines to all of our stakeholders involved in tourism enterprises, especially the frontline services, to follow basic protocols. And this was issued even before the travel restrictions were made by the national government. Next slide. And the Secretary also led leaders of the industry, CEOs and presidents of associations, to map out a tactical program to respond to the effect of COVID to tourism. In fact, just last week, we called on the President himself, together with the stakeholders, to talk about our tactical program. And this is a snapshot of some articles that came out with the President himself helping us talk about domestic tourism as a step towards responding to the impact of COVID to Philippine tourism, and advisory also on festivals and meetings. For as long as safety protocols are in place, they can proceed with it. Last Friday, there was a lifting of the ban on Taiwan travel, and the Department of Tourism has been instrumental in that. Our secretary was in the principals meeting to primarily push for the lifting of the ban of Taiwan. Our number one program for our tactical campaign is really focused on domestic tourism. Next slide, please. And we've actually engaged all of our stakeholders coming from airlines, hotels, and travel trade to look at steps in really stirring the market. And part of this would be several airline seat sales, packaged promotions, whether value added or marked down. And these are all the commitments made by the private sector. And we're also coordinating with airlines to just cushion the effect of COVID for the whole year, is to come out with airline year-long promotions, similar to like multi-destination passes that the airlines have implemented in the past. We're also encouraging that those who have approved budgets in the national government and local government for meetings to consider moving around the Philippines for their meetings and important engagements to stir domestic tourism. Next slide, please. For international tourism, we're also following the same tack by really looking at a tactical promotion, especially for summer. Next. And next slide. We would like to position, of course, the Philippines as the hottest summer destination in this part of the world. And we would like to leverage on certain bragging rights we have earned for ourselves in 2019. We've been awarded as the best dive destination in the world in 2019. And we would like to capitalize on that and position key destinations all over the country. We have a sample list. This is a sample list, what you see on screen, but every destination that is ready to accept both domestic and foreign travelers are very much welcome to be part of our campaign. Next slide, please. And our target markets would be our short-haul markets. Our number one market is still South Korea, Japan, the whole of the ASEAN market, and even homecoming Filipinos from the United States, and Western Europe as well. And this March, we are going to roll out a very important project that we've been working on the past couple of months. And it is the first ever Philippine Shopping Festival that's going to happen nationwide next. And this Philippine Shopping Festival will involve all of the major organizations in the retail industry. The next slide would show you the list of all the malls, starting from the Araneta Group all the way to Vista Mall. And all of the networks of these malls will be part of our nationwide campaign. And we have all the support of major organizations behind the retail industry and the tourism industry, from the Philippine Franchise Association to the Philippine Tour Operators Association and the like. And these are some samples of our positioning. You like our guests to look at the Philippines as a destination for most unique finds in terms of items to purchase and to experience. And highlight on homegrown brands and local products, like really developing handicrafts all over the country. And our target market is still the short-haul market, primarily Korea, Japan, and of course our homecoming Filipinos from the US. And part of our messaging is really how the Philippine government has responded to this crisis. And this is all part of this tactical program the DOT is rolling out. Thank you very much.
Okay, Asek Menyes.
Thank you. Magandang umaga sa inyo lahat. We were given about 5 minutes to present, and with me today is Senior Special Assistant Ambassador Olive Palala, also from OMWA. First slide, please. Anyway, the general message really is that the Department of Foreign Affairs continues to monitor the COVID-19 outbreak, and we will help to ensure protection of all overseas Filipinos. And in this light, the DFA Home Office has already issued 12 advisories to all the stakeholders, and we are in the process of issuing the next advisory, which would outline the airports through which persons in China can travel through to return to the Philippines. Our Foreign Service posts have also, since the 7th of January, issued 130 advisories to their respective jurisdictions, the Filipinos within their control. And these advisories inform the Filipinos of the steps that the government, through the DFA, is taking to ensure safety, security, and available assistance when needed. Advisories on emergency hotline numbers, health precautions, and situation updates were also part of these 130 advisories issued by our Foreign Service posts. Next slide. The temporary suspension of the issuance of visas by all Foreign Service posts to foreign nationals directly coming from China and foreign nationals who within 14 days immediately preceding arrival in the Philippines have also been communicated. The DFA has likewise instructed all its embassies and consulates general to advise visa-free nationals who fall under the said categories about the temporary travel ban imposed by the Philippine government. As discussed in the last IATF meeting, resolution or discussion regarding said temporary visa suspensions, like other travel restrictions in connection with COVID-19, will be subject to regular review by the IATF. With respect to our assistance to Filipinos abroad, as previously mentioned, in China, there has not been any Filipino yet identified to have been COVID positive. Our posts in China continue to closely monitor the situation and cooperate and share information with the Chinese authorities in order to keep our information updated. And hopefully the situation of no Filipino being affected will remain. In Japan, as of this morning, we received information that aside from the 11 Filipino crew members who were earlier identified, another 16 have been identified over the weekend to have been identified as COVID positive. And similar to the previous persons, everyone who's identified as positive is then brought to the hospital for better care. The embassy is in close coordination with the relevant Philippine and Japanese government agencies and representatives of the World Health Organization, Princess Cruises, and the Manning Agency to ensure that the needs of the Filipino crew and passengers are met and to facilitate their eventual return to the Philippines. The IATF Technical Working Group will be discussing this particular issue this afternoon for recommendations to the IATF main committee meeting tomorrow. On the Filipino patient in the United Arab Emirates, the embassy in Abu Dhabi is also in close coordination with the UAE authorities and looking to ensure that our kababayan is being given maximum care and support. The Filipino, who is a UAE resident, was identified as the 6th COVID patient in the UAE, as announced by the UAE Ministry of Health and Prevention. I understand that there are a couple more cases, but not Filipinos, that were also identified in the United Arab Emirates. With regard to our personnel who are abroad, the Department of Foreign Affairs has also issued guidelines for our people, and Department Circular 04/2020 encourages our personnel to postpone and or cancel non-essential foreign travels to or through COVID-19 affected areas, or if an official trip is to be undertaken, to refrain from passing through China and, as of today, including Hong Kong and Macau. The department has also issued a separate circular to all its personnel implementing a temporary suspension of department-organized internal trainings that will require participants to undertake international travel. Aside from that, of course, we are also following the DOH protocols with regard to the health measures to follow to avoid being infected. On the 11th of February, the Department of Foreign Affairs also conducted a diplomatic briefing for the embassies in the Philippines as well as international organizations. We invited several resource persons to brief the diplomatic corps about what the government is doing and also to answer questions from the foreign embassies and international organizations with regard to their own particular concerns about the measures that we are taking. And finally, within the context of ASEAN, the Philippines and the Department of Foreign Affairs in particular, as the National Secretariat of the Philippines to ASEAN, is working together with the national secretariats of the other 9 member states in outlining the courses of action for the region to effectively respond to the COVID-19 outbreak. As an outcome document, the DFA is working with the Department of Health and other ASEAN focal points to provide Philippine inputs on the chairman's statement on ASEAN's collective response to the outbreak of COVID-19. So, thank you.
Okay, Dr. Oba?
Magandang umaga po sa lahat. In behalf of Director Salcedo, the Director for Bureau of Quarantine, I'm Dr. Alexander Oba, the Division Chief for the Quarantine Service. By the time that novel coronavirus was announced in December, we are already closely coordinating with the Bureau of Immigration to document the following all the travelers coming from China, and also we alert all stations to immediately conduct passive surveillance among travelers coming from China. And then before the Wuhan ban, we immediately call on the Manning Agency, particularly holding our seafarers, to have guidelines pertaining to prevention and control of novel coronavirus on areas being affected. And then, likewise, respectively, on that date, we immediately convened the terminal operators, local airlines, and also Association of Foreign Airlines regarding the prepositioning of health declaration checklist. So on the January 31, we issue a memorandum pertaining to the distribution also of and the use of this health declaration checklist to document individuals coming from China. And then by February 2, immediately after the directive of the President, in coordination with the Bureau of Immigration, we comply with the travel ban for those travelers coming from China in the administrative region. And then effective Saturday, we issued the memorandum to all stations on the lifting of the delegated quarantine for airline crew who are undergoing delegated quarantine as affected by the travel ban in Taipei. And pertaining to cruise ships and vessels, we issue Memorandum 0034, particularly aligning with the directive of the President for the cruise ship for all those coming in from China, but with the relaxed Memorandum Circular for cargo vessels. The only changes that happen is that all vessels coming from China will be cleared at the anchorage area prior to berthing to the respective ports. So we're working hand in hand with the terminal operators, ship agents, local airlines, together with the other authorities at points of entry. The Bureau of Quarantine is continuously implementing as much as possible the maximum prevention and control and spread of infection for nCoV at points of entry. Thank you.
Okay, MPC questions? Sa COVID-19 muna tayo and then later kung may issue kayo sa Department of Education. Jinky.
Good morning po. Sa Bureau of Quarantine, sir. Sir, just to set the record straight po, no, natapos, I mean, na-lift na po yung travel ban natin sa Taiwan. Do we need to have this 14-day quarantine doon sa mga visitors na nag-travel sa Taiwan?
Effective, ma'am, February 14, we issue an electronic memorandum to all our stations to release those crew who are undergoing delegated quarantine, meaning they are in the respective institution manned by their own respective medical custodian. And today, Monday, they will receive the black and white memorandum pertaining to that. So all were released as the advisory to leave also Taiwan from the travel ban.
One thing pa, sir. Do you think it is high time now na magkaroon tayo ng sarili nating CDC, sir? That what we call Center for Disease Control and Preventions as somehow proposed by certain quarters?
I think if there are notions like that, maybe they can lift the issue to the interagency task force who can better give them advisory on the creation of CDC. But as far as the Bureau of Quarantine is concerned, we also raise our issues to the interagency task force.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Maricel?
Good morning po. Azek Menyes, may we know what's the plan of the government to all those Filipinos on board MV Diamond Princess? Are we going to evacuate all of them?
Yes, thank you. Certainly, we will assist all the Filipinos who are currently in Yokohama. The details for that, as I said, will be initially tackled this afternoon by the Technical Working Group on IATF, and recommendations will be given to the full IATF meeting tomorrow. Of course, nothing will move without the clearances of the Japanese government, and I understand that some countries have already repatriated. But as you know, most of the people that we have are crew members. So we will await the recommendations of the Technical Working Group that have more specific details with regard to the conditions and maybe labor requirements or immigration requirements before they can be sent home. The 14-day period, I understand, ends on February 19.
So for now, wala pa po tayong decision. Ano po yung target date natin to release the decision as to their evacuation?
With the discussions this afternoon, hopefully by tomorrow, the IATF will be able to give some guidance as to full details. But obviously, February 19 is the 14-day quarantine period, so nothing before that. And after that, I guess, would depend on particular details, like for the 26 who are currently in the hospital, whether they can leave right immediately is one question. And everyone else, I guess, will also have to be cleared before they are returned to the Philippines.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Ace, Mela, and then Alvin.
USEC Art, the President talked about going around the Philippines to address the impact of the COVID-19 on domestic tourism. Any idea where areas he will visit? What are the areas he will visit?
No, our office is still coordinating with the Office of the President. But as mentioned during the call on the President, it has to be immediate. So it's going to be in the next couple of weeks. But we're, of course, lining up destinations, no? Like destinations like Boracay, Cebu, for instance. It's also mentioned during our meeting, even Bohol. As part of the initial list of destinations the President would most probably visit within the next couple of weeks.
Okay, Boracay, Cebu, Bohol.
During our meeting, there was a mention of Boracay, Cebu, Bohol as an initial list. Of course, the intention really is to visit as many destinations as possible.
So all the major islands will be covered.
Definitely, yes.
So it will be next week.
We're mapping something either end of February, early March. So that is the timing that we are looking at, coordinating with the Office of the President.
So what is the message you're trying to convey with the President himself visiting these tourist spots?
Well, the President also expressed it. In fact, we issued a video with the message from the President that now is the time to really help push domestic tourism, as we are also slowing down in terms of arrivals from certain foreign markets. So just to arrest, no? And to cushion the whatever impact this crisis may bring to the tourism industry. As we see it, it's still early. And as we all know, we are uncertain as to how long this would go on, and we'd like to have those measures as early as possible addressed. Yeah.
Thank you, Yusek.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Mela, then Alvin, Ian, Rosalie, Francis.
Hi for Secretary Briones po. Ma'am, in light of the COVID-19 and the advisory of DOH, will you advise educators and learners to attend national and regional conventions po?
I understand that there will be a joint issuance of concerned agencies on giving guidelines on events such as this. Right now, we always seek the advice of the Department of Health. Now, we postponed the February events, but we have rescheduled them for March and April. For example, in Region 1, it will be April 13 to 19. We have Region 3, Region 4A, Region 4B, and the various regions are having the regional athletic meets, which will lead to the Palarong Pambansa, which is really the huge athletic event of the entire country. So these are scheduled in March and April, and as we go along, and I understand from the other agencies concerned, in addition to the Department of Health, that as long as precautions are taken, the appropriate precautions are taken, then such events can take place. Ang regional kasi easily up to 10,000 spectators yan on different days of the meet itself. So we have moved some of them, and depending on the advice that we get. So far, yung March tuloy namin yan, saka yung April. Ang run-up will be May sa Palaro.
Okay, ma'am. Just a follow-up po. Ma'am, yung sa mga Chinese schools naman po, will the school calendar days for these Chinese schools in the Philippines be extended in view of the prolonged non-holding of classes?
Automatic yan kasi the law provides that there have to be a specific number of days where teachers have face-to-face discussions with their students. So whether Chinese schools or public schools or local schools or other foreign schools, they have to comply with the requirements of law. So what they usually do is to have extension of classes, but how they will extend classes, whether longer hours during the day or on Saturdays or on Sundays or however they do it, they will have to comply with what is required by law.
Alvin?
Yusek Bongato, magandang hapon. Magandang umaga pa.
Magandang umaga.
Yusek. Opo. Yusek, how will DOT boost local tourism when there's a recommendation from Department of Health to refrain from outdoor activities or large crowds? How do we reconcile this, Yusek Bongato?
Yes. I'd just like to share that during the IITF principals meeting last Friday, February 14, that was agreed on by the DOT, the DOH, and DILG to issue the soonest clarificatory statement pertaining that directive or advisory from the DOH. And the general message there is that for as long as all precautionary measures are in place, and all protocols that are needed to be in place are in place, then they can proceed with such events and activities. So as we speak, I think that joint statement is being prepared and signed for everybody's appreciation. So it's a matter of maybe today or tomorrow for that statement to be issued and shared with everybody.
Yusek, follow-up lang. Sir, do we have a firm policy regarding whether to allow or not to allow tourist cruise ships to dock on our ports?
There is no national policy, but what we have seen the past couple of weeks was that the local government units themselves were issuing executive orders for travel restrictions, especially those involved in the cruise ship industry. So we cannot do much about a ship if wanting to dock in one area and the local government has already issued an executive order. So that is what we have been dealing with the past weeks pertaining to the cruise ship industry.
Yusek, habol ko na lang. In terms of losses po, to date ba, magkano na po yung losses sa tourism industry?
The losses for us is too early to talk about it, but the secretary has mentioned, in fact, during her press conference last week, if we put together an estimated foregone revenue, if the whole of February will be will be no markets coming from China, Hong Kong, and Macau, we've estimated around 14.8 billion pesos in terms of tourist receipts. We just got that projection from our performance in February 2017, 2018, and 2019, and made a projection for this year and used some indicators like average spend and average length of stay in 2018, and that's a figure that we came out with. So it's more or less a really an educated estimate in terms of how much we will. How much revenue will not be made during the month of February.
Okay, Ian, Rosalie, Francis, Sam, and then Ina or Prince.
To Secretary Briones. Ma'am, ang sinasabi po ng DOH, kung sila lang po ang masusunod, parang gusto nilang iwasan yung mga gatherings. Pero marami pong mga alumni homecoming and gatherings this summer ang mga schools. Ang DepEd po ba ay nire-recommend din po na iwasan ito?
Sinabi ko na kanina, bago ako magsagot ng tanong mo, I'd just like to announce that at 12 noon, DepEd will have a press conference on specific matters related to education. This will be at the division office in Manila, sa Aroseros. So makaklarify natin in greater detail and yung mga concerns ng media and the public. Yusek Alain and Yusek Dads will be around to share detailed information. Now, ngayon, the proposed and the expected, the pre-announced issuance of the joint memorandum of the various agencies will change will affect positively, I hope, the holding of various events in our units. Kasi ang sa palagay ko, ang laki-laki ng contribution sa local tourism ng activities ng DepEd, because we have a forthcoming Festival of Talents, we have the national press conference, we have regional athletic meets, because it's not only the athletes, kasi ito mga learners, mga bata, kasama usually ang parents, mga lola and so on, and they have already made reservations. So February lang yung napakalaki ng cancellations na nagawa namin, and if we reach up to halimbawa to the Palarong Pambansa, easily 30,000 katao. We'll just have to emphasize again and again to our various units that they should comply with the protocols and the guidelines and take the necessary precautions. But probably that will have to be worked out in greater detail with the Department of Health.
Yes.
Yung mga precautions which have to be taken, because really DepEd events attract big audiences and crowds.
Secretary, may naririnig din po kami na may mga ibang schools na parang nagpaplano sila na wala ng graduation ceremony. Instead, ibibigay nila yung mga certificate dahil nga iniiwasan yung mga gatherings. Ito po ba ay pabor pa ang DepEd dito?
Sa tingin ko baka magbago yung ganong outlook dahil nga may guidelines na ilabas ang mga agencies, baka babaguhin yan. Kasi ang mga desisyon na ganyan is done at the local level. Pero may budgets yan sila for the holding of the various ceremonies. Tapos parent-teachers associations, ang medyo malaking interest sa graduation are the parents and the lolas and the lolos and the yayas. Yun ang aside from the children, of course.
Rosalie?
Good morning po. Kay Asek Menyes po, nabanggit niyo po yung bilang kanina ng mga Filipinos outside the country na infected. So as of now po, 28 ang total number of Filipinos infected ng COVID.
Yung positive, 26 in Japan, 1 in the UAE, and
I think 27.
Sa Hong Kong, mga kwan lang naman yun eh. Hindi naman positive. So they were, I think, mostly released. So as far as I have it here, 27.
27 po ang total number ng Filipinos
So far.
confirmed COVID po infected. Sir, ano po ang update po dun sa panawagan po ng mga stranded OFW na may trabaho sa Hong Kong? Kasi po meron pong napaulat na within the week, there will be a resolution about po dun.
Yeah, isa yata sa mga pag-uusapan din ngayong hapon, yung sa IATF Technical Working Group, pag-uusapan yung mga issues about Hong Kong and even Macau. So baka bukas meron ho tayong developments on that particular issue. Pero we are very much aware of all the affected Filipinos, both in those special administrative regions and of course yung mga Filipino din ho natin, mga kabayan natin dito sa Pilipinas na gustong bumalik din ho sa Hong Kong and Macau.
May we know po kung ano po yung hinihintay ng IATF para po mag-arrive sa conclusion or dun po sa decision regarding po dun sa travel ban sa Macau and Hong Kong?
Wala akong specific information, pero I would imagine it would be the ability of those areas to effectively monitor and control further infections, and then maybe the numbers of people involved, as opposed to the other considerations regarding the number of Filipinos that need to travel between the two countries. So marami ho siguro mga kailangan pag-aralan kung saan ho ang mas magandang desisyon.
And lastly po, meron pong mga Filipino sa Macau na nagpapasundo na humingi ng saklolo sa pamahalaan. Hihintay po nila yung chartered flight. So kailan po natin ina-expect na masundo yun pong mga nagpapasaklolong kababayan sa Macau?
Yung Consulate General ho natin sa Macau, nagpalabas ho sila ng parang survey regarding those who will be interested to take advantage of a possible commercial flight that can be arranged. Pero kung malift naman ho yung ban on Macau, then ibig sabihin, makakabiyahe na ho yung mga airlines regularly. So, depende na rin ho kung may decision tayo kung about Macau, pero kung tatagal pa ho, then the initiative to arrange a commercial flight exclusively for the Filipinos stranded in Macau will be pursued.
Francis and then Sam.
Good morning po, Yusek Art. Follow-up ko lang dun sa pagbubus ng local tourism in view ng COVID-19. Tanong ko lang, sir, kasi last Friday, yung press briefing, sabi ni Secretary Poyet Romulo na maipag-partner yata sa mga airlines, pati sa mga hotel. Ano pong update doon? Tsaka ano yung target date natin kung kailan mag-i-start yung mga pagbibigay ng mga parang discount fare rates?
Well, yung nakakailang meeting na rin kami with airlines. Hindi lang sa airlines, kasama na rin po yung mga hotels and resorts at mga tour operators and travel agents. Ang commitment po nilang lahat ay either gumawa po ng value-added packages, meaning hindi masyadong bababa ang rate pero dadagdagan ng content, ang laman ng pakete, or mag-markdown talaga. So yung airlines, tour operators at saka hotels ay merong hanggang end of February kasi ang launch po talaga ng ating national campaign will be on March 1. Kasabay po ng Philippine Shopping Festival. Magkakaroon kami ng website. Nasa loob po ng website lahat po ng mga packages and promotions offered either by tour operators or mga individual hotels. Kahit na yung Philippine Shopping Festival po natin ay buong Marso lang, yung iba pong nakalagay sa website natin ay mga promotions that would last all the way to the end of the year. So ganun po, at saka medyo dynamic yung listahan natin. Kung maganda po yung take-up and response ng market, ay pwede pong baguhin ang laman ng mga pakete sa website. So it's really something that we have to really take a look at on a regular basis para makita po natin yung mga halaga ng mga pakete na nakalagay sa website. So if technically it's March 1, nationwide, sama-sama po ang airlines, accommodation at saka tour operations.
Last po, yung kay Pangulong Duterte, nabanggit na pupunta siya sa mga major islands. Will this be a weekly activity po kay Pangulo?
Yan po nakasalalay po sa schedule po ng presidente. Pero kung kami tatanungin, mas maganda po sana. Pero syempre, ang Pangulo, ang schedule po niya ay medyo puno. So, kung nasan po tayong mabigyan ng pagkakataon na may pakita po sa kanya ang iba't ibang destinations ay gagawin po ng Department of Tourism. So, handa po kami, At kahit na yung mga local government units at saka private sector in the regions, handa na rin sa pagbisita ng Pangulo.
Thank you po, Yusek Art.
Sam, and then mag-last 2 na tayo sa COVID-19. Prince. Ay, 3 pala. Sige.
Kay Asik Menyes lang po. Bali, meron na po bang natanggap na reports yung DFA kung may mga countries abroad na nagko-consider mag-issue ng travel advisory sa Pilipinas?
Wala pa naman at sana wag naman.
Tapos kay Sir Bong Cato po naman, yung so far may natanggap na po bang report yung Department of Tourism of any tourism-related establishment na nag-slow down or nag-close down na ng operation dahil sa effects ng COVID-19?
Wala na kaming officially natatanggap, pero yung nakuha po natin sa mga stakeholders natin, yung may mga certain properties po na very specific lang na certain markets na nanggagaling sa China, Hong Kong, or Macau, ay talaga pong humina. Kaya ang aming mungkahi ay habang humihina yung market na yan, ay tutukan natin yung domestic tourism para kahit papano po lahat ng mga, let's say for example, resorts, kahit na wala na yung markets coming from China, ay mapupuno naman ng domestic travelers, no. So ang punto natin dito is mapatuloy po yung pag-ikot ng tourism economy, no. Kahit na domestically, malaking tulong din po sa lahat ng stakeholders natin.
Last question na lang po. Nabanggit niyo po kanina na may expected na 14.8 billion losses sa tourism industry because of COVID-19. Sufficient po kaya yung domestic tourism para makompensate yun? Or mas bababa yung pwede nating revenue na makuha sa domestic?
Medyo, as I mentioned, medyo mahirap sagutin at sa puntong ito, no, dahil napakaaga pa. Parang ginagawa lang natin is you have to be very aggressive sa pagbigay ng posibleng solusyon sa impact nga, no? Because natigil. Ngayon lang, for the first time, natigil yung may mga flights coming from these destinations. Pero kung tutuusin natin, if you look at the value of domestic tourism in 2018, that's a total of 3.3 trillion pesos, no, as opposed to foreign, which is around 2.2 trillion pesos. So, malaki po ang halaga ng domestic tourism. Konting spike lang po sa domestic tourism, gaya po nasabi ni Secretary Briones, kung matutuloy po yung lahat ng events ng DepEd, ay malaking tulong yun, no? Sa sigurado na isang parte ng ekonomiya ay hindi talaga maapektuhan. Kung mag-increase, ay matutulungan po yung mababawas sa international markets.
Secretary Briones.
Tama yung sinabi ni ASEC na talagang malaki ang contribution ng DepEd to domestic tourism. Oo. Kasi you have 17 regions. Lahat yan covered ng regional athletic meets pagkatapos palarong pambansa. And then you have the Festival of Talents. In Festival of Talents, malalaki yung delegations kasi mga choirs, dancers, mga performers, etc. Tapos plus the press conference, annual press conference also, which is held. So itong mga events na ito talagang generate so much ang daming mga spectator. These are spectator sports kasi eh. So malaki ang contribution na nakikita ko. At hindi lang yan. Ang hotels, as I said, pagkain, supply ng equipment, napakalaking na-degenerate na economic activity pag magkaroon ng event ang DepEd dahil sa laki niya.
Thank you.
Okay. Si Prince muna, then Jinky and Chris. Last na tayo sa COVID-19. Okay, may ACE pa.
Sir, USEC Art.
Yes.
Good morning.
Morning.
Sir, about the president's trip to Boracay, Cebu, and Bohol. Ano po yung mga possible activities ng Pangulo doon?
Hindi pa po namin na pag-uusapan, but of course, from the point of view of the department, we want, of course, to showcase the sites and attractions that are very popular among our markets. No, hindi lamang popular sa mga foreign markets, but popular also for the domestic market. So, for instance, pagpunta po sa Bohol and Cebu and Boracay, these are coastal destinations, no? So, maaaring pong papakita natin dito yung mga pinakasikat na beaches, for example, no? At saka yung mga activities na nagbibigay ng mga unique experiences sa mga turista. At malamang papakita din natin yung local communities, no? Importante kasi yung role ng local communities sa turismo dahil sila po yung nagbibigay nga ng, aside from probably sources ng pangangailangan ng industriya, sila rin po nagbibigay ng uniqueness sa experience ng mga bisita sa Pilipinas.
Possible ba, sir, na magbi-beach swimming ang Pangulo sa Boracay? Beach swimming. Magsiswim talaga siya sa Boracay. Possible ba yon, sir?
Parang hindi ko masagot yung tanong mo. It's below my pay grade, but we will recommend. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Jinky, then Chris, and Acer.
Sir, sa DFA, kay ASEC Manias. Hi, sir. Sir, any update on possible lifting ng ban natin sa Hong Kong? Kasi parang prefer yata ni Secretary Luxtin na i-lift ito since para daw sa mga OFW natin. Sir?
Yeah, kagaya ng sinabi ko, pag-uusapan within the technical working group ITF mamaya, and then probably maybe some recommendations for the full meeting tomorrow. Pero nag-tweet nga si Secretary about the conditions of the Filipino workers affected by the ban. So I think there is a common feeling within the government na marami nga ho na apektuhan. So it's one of the main considerations why we're reviewing the coverage of the ban.
Sir, one last lang. Yung mga countries na tinitingnan natin na maaari tayo mag-issue ng travel ban, isa ang Singapore doon, pero ang secretary parang he actually opposes that. Parang sabi niya hindi daw niya susuportahan any ban on Singapore.
Yes, may tweet nga rin si Secretary about that. And again, yung mga tinitignan siguro ng experts ay yung kakayahan ng bansa tungkol sa pag-handle ng COVID-19. And then the other factors are the economic consequences, consequences on our Filipino workers. So marami hong pag-aaralan at magkakaroon tayo ng decision hopefully in the near future.
Thank you, Asek.
Chris? Kay Yusek Art po. Sir, ano po yung mga countries na sa tingin nyo ay nakapag-contribute po dun sa revenues ng tourism industry?
Yung top markets pa rin natin ang binigyan natin ng pansin, ano. Like South Korea is still our number one market, and we would like, and our department is investing more resources sa pag-communicate sa mga different market segments sa South Korea. Ganon din po sa Japan. USA is also a performing market, primarily of course driven by homecoming Filipinos. At masaya po kami, lalo na si Secretary, nung Biyernes, February 14, na na-lift yung ban sa Taiwan. Because it's the 5th biggest market of the Philippines, at malaki po ang kanyang pag-angat in terms of arrivals, year on year. So isang pakahalagang market po sa Pilipinas yun.
Sir, despite po dun sa NCOV, COVID-19, ini-encourage nyo pa rin po ba yung ibang tourist na pumunta dito? Sa kabila po na nakafocus po tayo sa local tourism.
Oo naman, no? Kasi in fact, gaya na sabi ko kanina, yung aming Office of Branding and Communication ay nag-i-invest na mas malaki pang amount, no? Not only communicating to these short-haul markets, but to all of our markets worldwide. Because ang sinasabi natin, maayos naman po yung pag-respond po ng Pilipinas sa crisis na ito, and then protocols are in place. Ganun naman po yung ang ating condition dyan. Gaya ng sabi ng aming kalihim, na safety is primary, but pag na-set na po yun, pwede natin pagpatuloy yung turismo as a push, kasi it's not only one way of doing sustainability in the Philippines, it's also very inclusive. Kasi nung 2019 alone, or 2018, around 5.4 million Filipinos were directly and indirectly employed by the tourism industry. So napakahalagang industriya po ang turismo. So kailangan in all cases where safety is present, we will push for tourism growth.
Thank you po.
Sir?
Asek Mayes, i-clarify ko lang po yung numbers of Filipino crew members ng ship who tested positive for COVID. Earlier, you said 11 yung initial and then 16. So are there 26 or 27 who are?
Yeah, yes, you're correct. 27.
27 po. And what assistance is the Philippine government giving them? Are we paying for their hospital fees while they're in Japan?
The Philippine Embassy, as I said, is in constant contact. They have, through the Japanese government, delivered care packages containing toiletries and non-medical supplies, and are in constant contact with the medical authorities. At this point, it's not clear to me whether the medical expenses of those positive, those who have been identified as COVID positive, are being shouldered by whom. I would imagine that in the initial case, it would be the Japanese government, but then the employer as well will probably have some responsibility for paying for the medical expenses. But if in the final analysis the government needs to pay, then the government will step up accordingly.
Sir, after the quarantine period, if they wish to be repatriated, we would repatriate them, right?
Oh yes, of course.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. No more questions, MPC? Okay, thank you. Secretary Briones, last words, please.
Again, I would like to announce a press conference in the division office of Manila in Arroceros for those who are interested in getting more details about developments in education, as well as level of preparations for the various national and regional events that we are preparing to boost tourism and also to achieve our own educational objectives.
Secretary Briones, may question po muna sa inyo. Sino? Okay.
Kay Secretary Briones, Ma'am, on the 70,000 Bicol pupils, you said na hindi na maibig, it doesn't mean na illiterate itong mga students na ito, but you mentioned that they may be having problems in reading comprehension, yung iba in the language po na ginamit, either Filipino or English. What could have led to this problem, ma'am?
Mahirap sabihin right now kasi ina-analyze namin yung data because we don't do it only in the Bicol region. Ginagawa naman natin yan sa lahat na region on an annual basis para ma-inventory yung level of reading capacities ng ating mga bata. Kaya binavalidate muna natin yung data na yon kasi hinalo kasi yung may difficulty sa Filipino, may difficulty sa English at saka yung understanding natin yung anong ibig kung sa Bisaya pa anong ibig sabihin ng hindi marunong magbasa, illiterate ba o may difficulties lang. Halimbawa kung ikaw ay grade 12, ang level ng comprehension at saka pag-process ng information has to be appropriate to that grade. Yun ang mga tinetest. At saka sa grade 1 ay sinasabi karamihan ng 70,000 mga grade 1. So, mahirap kasi mag-draw ng mga conclusions na ganon, especially for a particular region. There are 17 regions with different levels of iba't ibang klase mga problema. Mayroong iba marunong magbasa pero may mga words na hindi maintindihan. Yung sinasabi nga nila na mayroon naman talagang non-readers. Pero itong non-readers, tinawagan ko kanina ang regional director sa Bicol. Ang sabi niya, less than 5% lang. Hindi naman ganon kadami. Sinabi ko na nga kanina, medyo insulto yan sa mga taga Bicol na sabihin natin na mayroong 70,000 illiterates na naglalamierda dyan sa Bicol. Palagay ko hindi naman totally accurate yan. Dahil iba't ibang level yan ang tinitingnan natin. Ganon din sa reading test ng PISA. Sa PISA, ganon din kung appropriate sa edad ng bata na 15 years old, ganito na ang kakayahang mag-interpret na binabasa niya. Pero marunong magbasa ng mga bata, karamihan sa kanila. Yung nga lang yung pag-process niyan, pag-interpret, pagkita kung anong makupulot nilang leksyon, yun, nagkakaiba yan at saka appropriate ba sa grado nila. Yun ang tinitingnan. Kaya mayroon tayong program na read to lead. Kasi ang sinasabi natin na yung mga nagli-lead ng ating mga komunidad, sa ating bansa, sa mundo, marami dyan, karamihan talaga nagbabasa. Oo. So, yun ang focus ng ating kampanya as of this time.
Last na lang, ma'am. I understand ito.
Pero may mga detail, pwedeng namin sa press con kasi kinukuha pa namin sa Bicol region.
So, yung DepEd po will release, kasi I understand itong test na to is an initiative of the Bureau of Elementary Education.
My dear, we don't have a Bureau of Elementary Education. Yung elementary education, sa panahon pa nag-aral pa ako. Oo. Ang ating bureau ngayon ay Bureau of Curriculum Instruction and Development. Wala, kaya medyo na-confuse nga ako nung nabasa ko na mayroong Bureau of Elementary Education kasi sa panahon ko pa yon.
Kasi ma'am, it's nandito dun sa report na inilabas. So it's good that we clarify that. Will the DepEd po release yung tamang interpretation of this test to clarify any misconception?
Yes, thank you for that suggestion. Kaya nga, yun ang ginagawa namin. Dahil hindi lang man ito sa Bicol yung mga test na ito. Ginagawa sa halos lahat na region. At tinitingnan din namin, sabihin natin na yung Bicol maraming hindi marunong magbasa. Pero how do you account, for example, for NCR? How do you account for Cordillera? How do you account for Region 7? So may iba't ibang mga karakteristik, iba't ibang strategies. Napakalaki ng papel ng teacher dito. Talagang crucial yung level ng teaching. Kaya ang competencies ng teacher tinitingnan. Pero thank you for the opportunity to clarify that there is no Bureau of Elementary Education.
Okay, thank you, Pia. Thank you. Thank you, MPC. Thank you, Secretary Briones. Yusek Bongkato, last words, please.
Yes, I'd like to reiterate the call of the department to help us grow tourism, as it is one of the fastest growing engines of growth in the Philippines. At inaanyayahan po namin kayo lahat na ilabas lahat ng inyong credit cards, debit cards, March 1 to 31 for the Philippine Shopping Festival. Umikot po tayo sa Pilipinas. Maraming salamat.
Asek Menyes.
Yes, siguro ang kailangan natin tandaan is the Philippines is handling this situation very well. We have so far not had any infections that for those not connected to Wuhan, and we hope that our handling of the situation will continue to inspire confidence in both the public and of course the foreign visitors as well. So we look forward to cooperating with all sectors of government so that we are able to project the correct situation and instill confidence in our people. Yun lang.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Oma.
The Bureau of Quarantine continuously working with the stakeholders at the front line to appropriately respond to this problem, and we will keep you updated through the Department of Health.
Okay, thank you. Maraming salamat po sa ating mga bisita. Salamat, MPC. Back to our main studio sa Radyo Pilipinas and People's Television Network.